I was born in the heart of the city, the pyramids towering above like silent judges, their jagged steps leading to the heavens I would one day try to reach. My mother, a queen adorned with jade and feathers, whispered my name as if the words alone could shield me from what awaited. But I knew, even as a child, that my cradle was not a place of rest. It was a stage, and my every move was already scripted by generations of rulers before me. As a boy, I learned quickly that to be king was not to play in the fields or chase lizards through the market. My tutors drilled into me the sacred history of our people, the rituals, the gods, the wars fought, and the sacrifices made. Every day I wore a mask of obedience, hiding the fear that grew like vines in my chest. I watched other children laugh and run freely, and I wondered if they knew how lucky they were. I was expected to memorize every glyph, every chant, every star in the sky because one wrong word could anger the gods and doom my city. By the time I was a teenager, the weight of the crown was no longer a future threat. It was a looming reality. I learned to sit in judgment over disputes that seemed trivial, but each decision rippled across the lives of my people. I had to show strength even when my hands shook with uncertainty. And then came the first war I had to lead. I stood on the battlefield, my heart pounding, as men and women, loyal and afraid, looked to me for guidance. The arrows flew like deadly rain, and I learned what it truly meant to command lives. Not all of them would return, and it was my choice who survived. The gods demanded blood, and I had to provide it. The priests never left me alone. They whispered of omens in my dreams, of sacrifices that must be made to keep the sun rising. I had to watch strangers, even my own kin, being offered to the gods. I learned to hide my horror behind a mask of divine calm because a king cannot falter. Every festival, every ceremony, every bloody ritual reminded me that my life belonged to the city, not to me. My personal desires, my happiness, my fears, all swallowed by the expectation of my title. Marriage brought no comfort. My queen was chosen for alliances, not love, and every celebration was another performance. My children were trained, not played with, and I feared the same chains that bound me would trap them as well. The nights were long, filled with whispers of betrayal. Assassinations were common, and every ally could turn dagger in hand. I slept with one eye open, the crown of my head heavy with the knowledge that a single mistake could end me and everything I had built. And yet, despite all the ceremonies, all the battles, all the sacrifices, the gods still demanded more. Droughts, famines, and rebellions rose like waves, and I bore the blame. The people's anger was swift, their loyalty fickle. My advisors plotted, the priests whispered threats, and the neighboring cities always eyed my lands for conquest. To be king was to be alone, surrounded by people, yet isolated by the crown. When I finally grew old, my body tired and my mind burdened, I looked upon the city I had ruled all my life. I saw the pyramids I had climbed in my youth, the blood-stained stones that had witnessed countless rituals, the walls filled with history, triumph, and despair. And I realized that being a Mayan king was not about power, not about glory. It was about sacrifice, sacrificing your freedom, your peace, your very soul to the relentless demands of gods and men. Death came as silently as life had begun, and when I was laid in my tomb surrounded by jade and gold, I knew the cycle would continue. Another child would be born to carry the crown, to shoulder the weight, to endure the endless expectations. And they too would learn what I had learned, that to be a Mayan king was to live a life that was never really your own, and to die a death dictated by tradition, fear, and the unyielding gaze of the gods.